and we are just being, reunited to our own self, our true self. But there's one thing which really fascinated, and it really took my attention, was the love. I think the only thing that connects any human being is love, and that's the only invitation I have to all of you, is to be here, to be present here for as long as you can, how much ever time that you can spare, out of love, out of love, out of love, and an open heart and open mind. And I say that with reverence and love, because I know that each one of us have been going ahead in our own journey, and we all have different states in our journey. But then being present over here inside of love, inside of an open heart and open mind, I'm sure that something or the other, something would be there of value to each one of us. If I could request to everyone, because it's really useful that we see each other, and it becomes more interactive. I think this is not a webinar where we are going to be just having a training webinar kind of a setup. This is more like an interactive session where I'll be speaking and I'll be listening to you, and maybe addressing few of your questions if I can, if I am able to. And it's also fair to see each other. While you see me, I should also have an opportunity to see you. So, with that background, let me leave it to you. Of course, it's your choice. Gonna share my screen. I request Brother Ram to let me know if the screen is visible and the sound is also audible.
Yes, Akash bhai, all is good.
You can hear the sound?
I think the sound is not yet here.
Okay.
Yes, now it's there.
Anyways.
It's there.
Okay. Fine. The screen is a single screen. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So today we're going to look into what it is being human, what does it mean to be human, what does it mean to be here, like each one of us individually, each soul having their presence on this planet. What does it mean to be on this planet? How does this journey started? How did this form of being human beings evolved? So we're going to look at that, right? And as we proceed, I'm sure I would be able to provide you a glimpse to it, and subsequently we can always deep dive and learn much details. But let me start by um, each one of you introducing to you Ascended Masters. Now, what does Ascended Masters mean? Okay, if you read this, it says, I am presence, teachings offered by Ascended Masters of the Great White Brotherhood. Now, Great White Brotherhood, I would like to bring to your notice, since it's for a couple of us, at least for me, it was a new term. What does this mean? Great White Brotherhood is nothing but a body. It's a body of masters. It's an accumulation of masters who are ascended and who are unascended, and their chelas who are on the planet Earth, coming here for various reasons and their mission. That's a brief. And since out of many ascended masters, I have just picked few, so I would just like to introduce them so that we have a connection with them. And then we're going to talk about ascended masters in subsequent sessions, and I'm going to introduce you to many more ascended masters later on. And what do we, what are their purposes, and how can they really be of help to us in our day-to-day lives? So on the extreme left, if you see on the top left, we see ascended master Kuthumi. He is a master of psychology. I'm going to give a very one-liner just to give an introduction to them. He's a master of psychology. He's a mastermind. He very, very powerfully helps us to work through, to be a mastermind, to work through our psychology. And then below him, we have El Moria, Master El Moria. El Moria, he is a master, he's a god of will of God. When we say that not my but thy will shall happen, means that if we are in a state where we can fulfill God's will, that's the sole purpose for being on the planet. And that's what he is responsible for. And then we have Ascended Master Chananda. Master Chananda, he is a master of twin flames, and also he is a master of this continent, which is India. He has a personal accountability towards India. And I would really appreciate if you can, in case you have any questions per slide, do ask me once I finish a particular slide, so that we can have more interactive session. And then below him, we have down left, we have Master Sanat Kumara, Ascended Master Sanat Kumara, or we can also call him as Kartikeyan. And he has the highest order of responsibility for the planet Earth. Or so, and we're going to talk about this in later section, but he is the one who is responsible for the order on the planet Earth. And then on the extreme right, top right, we have Ascended Master Kuan Yin. She is a bodhisattva, so that means she's unascended master, which we will talk about later. But then Kuan Yin, she is responsible, she's a goddess of mercy, compassion, and forgiveness. And then below that, we have Saint Germain. He is a master of violet flame. And we'll talk about violet flame in a bit in the next section. And then below him, we have Paul the Venetian. He is a master of love. And then below him, we have Archangel Michael, and we can call him even Hanuman, and he's an angel of protection on the planet Earth. So I'll just briefly share a bit about the movement of Ascended Masters quite recently, starting from 1930s. So there's a movement by the name of I Am movement, which started in 1930 in Chicago, in America. And there's another movement, Theosophical Society, which was formed in 1875 in New York. And subsequently, the same society formed in 1879 in India, Indian culture. And I would like to share that the source of all this information is the Summit Lighthouse, based out of Corwin Springs, Montana, US. So, friends, do you have any questions, if I can take up briefly? Okay. I assume that maybe we have questions subsequently when we move through a few slides. So I think I'm going to move to the next slide. All right. What you see in the screen is a picture of violet flame. Now, what is violet flame? Violet flame. Well, this is a gift to humanity which was given by Ascended Masters eons ago. And it has always been there. And it has helped the humanity in ways which are so powerful, so that we can forward on our journey towards spiritual mastery, towards progress in our spiritual journey. And I would just like to briefly touch upon what violet flame means. Well, every human being, as the teaching from the Ascended Master says, they operate out of different levels of energy. Now, I talk about levels of energy, meaning that we operate inside of vibration. We are but vibration at every single given point of time, wherever we are. Okay, and we have 33 different levels of energy, positive as well as negative. Okay, and at the highest level of energy, 33rd level of energy, is nirvana. And when we talk about the lowest level, it's the absolute evil. Anything you can think about that, which is so evilish. All right, just touching upon this. Now, what happens is that this violet flame has come to us as a dispensation by the ascended masters. And we will talk about this a little later, right? But I just wanted to touch upon this. Now, I have a hand raised. I would like to answer to Mithila. Yes, yes, Mithila. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Hi, Akash. I
I.
just wanted
Hi,
to.
Mithila.
Hi. Hi.
Yes.
See, I've heard these names of the great ascended masters and all that, but were they all down on earth at some point of time in human form? And around what age would they have been down here on earth?
Hmm.
I mean, two,
So,
300 years back, or 1,000 years back,
yeah,
or just recent?
yeah. So it's a beautiful question, Mithila. And to answer to your question, the answer is it's multifolds. The answer is yes. There have been ascended masters on the planet Earth in the physical form, and the answer is there are a couple of them who probably we don't have a details of that who have been on the physical realm. But yes, the answer is that all these ascended most of the ascended masters they have been on the planet Earth. Like we are talking about violet flame right now, just to giving you an answer to this. Violet flame is a gift by Saint Germain, who was on the planet Earth as an emperor of Sahara Valley 50,000 years ago. That was the time of golden age, and he was on the planet Earth, and then I'll talk about him a little later on the next slide. And definitely, he's one of the things which I'm going to touching upon, and he helped humanity to introduce violet flame and help a lot of people so that they can forward in their spiritual journey. And then we have Gautama Buddha. We all know in the last picture, and Gautama Buddha is also an ascended master, and he has a beautiful teachings which we will learn subsequently in subsequent sessions. Very very powerful learnings. And then there's a list of all the masters that we have seen in the earlier slide. They operate out of different places. They have their own retreats on the planet Earth. I know a few, like Ascended Master Kuthumi has his retreat in Srinagar from India, and then El Moria. I think Saint Germain has his retreat in Rocky Mountains, and there are a few more. So I don't exactly remember the places, but even Chananda, Ascended Master Chananda has a retreat somewhere in India, perhaps in Rajasthan. So yeah, I think
Shji,
that
we
will be a
have,
brief answer to you.
yeah,
Yeah,
Akashji, there is one of Team Zorba is asking, what is the difference between ascended and unascended masters?
yeah. Well, that's a beautiful question. I appreciate this question. I'll answer to the fullest of my knowledge. Ascended masters are those masters who have completed their cycle of birth and death. So now they have reached to a plane, and there will be a lot of further questions. As I said in the beginning, please hold on to yourself with an open heart and an open mind, and I'll try to do justice as much I can. But just be open right now. So those masters, and I'm talking about masters who are like us, they are no different, but they have attained a level of mastery. That attainment is their earning, that's their jewel out of many lifetimes. For example, Gautama Buddha, I'm using that example as many of us really have some connection and a lot of learnings through Gautama Buddha in our daily lives. Now, Gautama Buddha, he was on the planet Earth and he completed his cycle of birth and death. And then he ascended. When I say ascended, what I mean by saying that is he moved to a realm which is beyond physical realm. Though he is present and he's working along with us very, very closely. But when I say ascended, he is no more at the realm of physical, so the physical laws do not apply to him. These laws of karma, of free will, does not apply to him, does not apply to ascended master. When I say him, I mean ascended masters. And however, he has been given a role up until the starting of Aquarian age till the end of the previous Piscean age. He was the overall in charge of the planet Earth for 2000 years. And but the ascended, these are the ascended masters, right, who have left the physical plane. They are working on the etheric level. They have certain depth in their powers. They have a lot of powers which they use only if they have been invited and they have been requested. So I'll talk about that, how can we invite them and we can request them. But they do not interfere in our free will. They do not interfere in our free will. I'm just keeping it quite simple as of now, just to, you know, just to get more distinctions around it, and then we can build upon it later on. About unascended masters are those who have chosen, not to leave the, who have chosen not to ascend. In other words, not to leave the physicalness of the body, not to leave the physical realm of the planet Earth, and then they are present on the planet Earth, and they work even more closely than the ascended masters, and they so that they can benefit the humanity. So they have agreed not to ascend, and as a, there's a, you know, kind of a you know, negotiation, or as a matter of I don't mean to use such you know I would say not quite divine words, but then as a matter of their decision that they have taken with the karmic board, I'll come to that word later on. But with the, you know, in the hierarchy of the gods, as they have made a decision to be on the planet Earth, they have certain more privileges to work very closely with humans. So Mother Kuan Yin is like one unascended master. We can also call unascended masters as bodhisattvas. Okay, then there is one Mahavir Babaji, who is also not an he is an unascended master. He is also a bodhisattva, and there are many more. Okay, so I'm just keeping it a little more simple, just to make you aware of what it means to be an ascended and unascended master. Any further questions? Is it
Yes.
fine, Team Zorba?
Yeah.
Can we move?
Yes, there is one more question
Okay.
just on the same topic, Akash Bhai.
Okay.
So, do ascended masters descend again on planet Earth by will or compulsion? Is there a possibility?
They I do To be quite honest, I don't have a clear cut answer to this question, simply because I have not worked on this question myself. But I'm just trying to recall from the knowledge that I have attained. um, you are saying whether they can come to the planet Earth and be part of human realm.
Yes.
That's what
So,
the question is.
yes. So,
Can you
Pradeep
repeat the
wants,
question?
yeah,
Mhm.
Pradeep wants to know: do ascended masters descend again on planet Earth by will or by compulsion?
Okay.
Is that possible?
So I can get back to the answer to this question, but I remember from the learnings, you know, in one of specifically about Saint Germain, that he had come back around 200 years ago again, and he had given the gift of violet flame back to the planet Earth. The violet flame was withdrawn from the planet Earth uh, uh, around 50,000 years ago. So I have one example for that. So I think there is a possibility that ascended masters, they can again come back to the planet Earth in the physical realm if there is a need. And yes, that's a possibility. Can we move? Or you
Thank
have
you.
more questions?
No, I think we have no questions now.
Okay.
We can move on.
I was just trying to mention that violet flame, now as you see on the screen, violet flame. Violet flame was a gift that was given by uh, the great God to the planet Earth, so that we can use it in the best possible ways. And as back as 50,000 years ago, we are just using one example right now. Okay, before that, um, you might have a question: how come that we don't know about violet flame? For few of you, at least I never knew about violet flame up until very recently, or maybe a year or so ago. So, well, violet flame was not part of any scripts and not part of many of the ancient, scriptures, because of the obvious reasons, right? And it was withdrawn from us. I mean, it was not part of the script because of obvious reasons, because it was one of the most powerful gift that was given to humanity. And the Ascended Masters never wanted this to be misused. Okay. By the way, in around 50,000 years ago, so now I'm coming to, and also just to add to that, violet flame has not been mentioned in the scripts, but it is there in the Akashic records that the mankind has been using violet flame from eons of years. It's there in the Akashic records. Okay, the complete mention is there in the Akashic records. So I was mentioning about an example, like in Golden Age earlier when I was answering Mithila. So I'm going to expand on that answer now. So in the Golden Age, around 50,000 years ago, in Sahara Valley, which is now a desert, Saint Germain was an emperor, and he brought this gift of God to the planet Earth, and it's beautiful. I mean, when I talk about violet flame can take care of all the problems that human beings have. It is the shortest distance between a problem and a solution on the planet Earth. Can you just be amazed by this for a moment? Well, just take my words for it as of now. But I will definitely explain you, and I will also guide you how to use this. But as humans were given a free will, instead of building the positive karma and working towards their ascension, people started using it for wrong reasons, for bad things, and taking a benefit of it, for them, for their own selves, at the cost of others. There are so many examples that we can give, and the misuse, and then they started using it in the sense of karma dodging. I mean, I'm using this term. Uh, so they do something wrong, and then they use violet flame to transmute those karmas. Okay, uh, I can use an example that I did something wrong, and then I'm trying to give away, some donation to somebody, to a temple. Or if I'm a very rich guy, then do something, really mess up something, and then build a temple, or donate something like that. All right. So humans have done that in the past, and that's not how ascended masters look at the purity of spiritual work, of building positive karma. That's not the right motive, and that's not the right desire. So this changed from our polarity, which is the God in us. It got diluted, it got polluted to duality, that is our human bodies. We became from the Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Guru Nanak consciousness, Muhammad consciousness, any name you want to give it. From that divine self, we became rote consciousness. So violet flame dispensation was withdrawn by from the planet Earth by the Cosmic Council. And I'll talk about Cosmic Council later on. Pardon few words which I'm using, and I'm going to expand on them later on. So as early as 200 years ago, so I think this was in addition to what I was answering to Mikhila earlier. I think that would really help her and everybody. Now, just as early as 200 years ago, again, in his etheric form, Ascended Master Saint Germain, he, through the help of, he passed messages. So this is another thing which I will speak in a moment. He passed his messages to Godre and Lotus. Now, Godre and Lotus, they were like you and me, they were on the planet Earth, They were based out of Chicago, US. And he passed this message that the violet flame has been reintroduced. Okay. And it was reintroduced on the planet Earth around that time, 200 years ago. Now, why it was introduced? Because this is a golden age. This is now right now is a Aquarian age. Aquarian age. If you I'll just briefly say something about it. Aquarian is an age where life is in very fast. It's in a steadfast, uh, accelerated state right now. Everything is happening in an accelerated mode. Like the inventions, like the wisdom that people are getting, a lot of knowledge is coming up. It's an age of change. So violet flame was introduced again back by Saint Germain to the planet Earth so that it can assist people to bring about this change, to help them to connect with their own God self. I am presence. I call it as I am. I am presence is nothing but God self. So that is nothing but the shortest distance between a problem and a solution. So what I was referring is, just moving back a slide, is that while this was withdrawn from us, great masters gave the violet flame back to the planet Earth with a assurance by Saint Germain that this, if it is misused, his attainments that he has attained will be taken away from him. All right. So that's the collateral that Saint Germain had to give so that he could bring the violet flame on the planet Earth. Okay, without further delay, let me just speak a little about violet flame, because I feel that most of us will be very fascinated to hear this word again and again. So what does it do? What is the benefit of a violet flame? Well, violet flame, just a few of them, just to make a list of them, just to highlight few of them. It helps us and in day-to-day life in multiple folds, like cleaning of our chakras, our energy centers. It helps us in forgiving ourselves and others. It helps us in attaining financial freedom and limitations. It helps us to restore love back into the relationships, to remove blockages and any kind of ailments or sickness. It helps us to free our self-sabotaging patterns, which have been there in our life or in the life of our family members or our ancestors. Like it could be anger, it could be unwillingness to do things, non-willingness to do things, like rebellion, like hatred, like people have a habit of debt or some kind of chronic sickness which people keep carrying forward, and so violet flame also helps us to bring us back to restoring our original blueprint, and we'll talk about what blueprint means in a subsequent session. And then also it also helps us in balancing our karma, as I already mentioned. All right, so that's a very brief about it. If we have any questions, or shall we move to the next slide? I'll pause for a moment. All right. Please feel free, friends, to ask any questions that you have. And I'm fine to take questions in middle, absolutely fine. And we will go as far as we can. It's more about we being interactive, and we'll be taking something out of today's session rather than just moving on with some content and just to complete some content. So that's the idea, right? So I invite you to ask questions. Asking questions imprints things in our mind better than anything else. If we learn to teach another person, that's the best way to learn, I would say. All right. I think there's someone who's asking, what's the duration of golden age? Pradeep asking this question, what's the age of duration of the golden age? Again, Pradeep, can you unmute yourself? I would like to interact with you. Yeah. Hi, Pradeep.
Yeah.
Yes, Pradeep. Please ask what you want to know.
Yeah, basically, I want to know the duration of golden
Pradeep,
age.
Pradeep Doshi.
Yeah. Yeah, the duration of golden age, because there are various schools of thoughts, whether it is equal in duration to the other ages, or some schools of thought say that it is largest in duration compared to the other ages. So, what
Okay.
does your knowledge suggest?
Okay. Well, Pradeep, I think you yourself are quite knowledgeable on this particular subject because I know you personally. But my knowledge says that golden age was the biggest amongst all the other four ages, the Satya Yuga. And if you ask me the duration, as you pointed out, perhaps it was in the tune of more than 20,000 years.
Okay,
Uh, but it's a very nice question, and I don't have a mastery on this, to be quite honest.
fine.
And now the question is, Team Zorba, as it happened 5 years back, 5,000. Is it 5 years? Can you unmute and ask the question, please? Team Zorba. Okay, as it happened five 5 years back, Saint Germain appeared in my laptop at midnight. The same message which now you are showing up. Oh, okay, wow. Thank you for sharing. Uh, can you unmute? I would like to interact with you if you don't have a problem with that. Otherwise, if you have an issue, then we can.
I think Akash bhai, they have some.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make it more
Actually,
swift. So
ma'am is
yeah.
practicing silence. She is in silence, so I think that she will be
Okay.
able to interact.
Yeah. No problem. Okay. So because it makes it more interactive to answer the question back and forth. Well, ascended masters cannot contact you without your free will. That's point number one. However, if you ask an ascended master that please show me ways, please show me signs, please show me some kind of uh, please communicate to me in some sort of way so that I can put my attention to what I want to know. Maybe I am talking about my job right now that I facing some challenge in moving ahead in my job. Please show me a sign. How can I choose the right path? I'm just using an example. It's just a random example. And please show me a path in any form. Uh, by it could be through a sign or somebody interacting with me. So the answer is yes. They will respond back to your request every time that you ask this question to them, and you will be surprised that it will be as swift as in couple of moments, right? So the answer is yes. My daughter is 6 years. She talks to them in it was that time. Okay, possible. If your daughter is talking to ascended master, it's possible. I would like to say something, Team Zorba. Okay, what I would like to say to you is that there are different forms of communication. Okay, and this is to everybody, not just to Team Zorba. There are different forms of communication. Uh, Channeling, which is a very common word. Okay, we have heard of the word channeling, and there is another word which I will use. It is called as dictation. So ascended masters communicate to physical realm through dictations. And there are three different modes in which they can communicate to the physical realm because they are on a, as I was talking about energies at plus 33 and minus 33 level. So ascended masters have to lower their vibrations from 33 to 18 levels. And I don't have much mastery on the levels and multiple of them, but I have some good acquaintance around it. They come down to the 18th level, plus 18th level of energy. And then those people who are the chosen ones, why I say that is the chosen ones is because they have a very deep level of subtle level of sensitivity towards higher realms. Okay, we will talk about it later. I don't want to confuse you, but what I mean is there are certain people who have more and all of us can probably reach from depending upon how we are, where we are in our practice. But there are certain people who are already ready from the last lifetime's work that they have done. That they have done. So ascended masters reach to a level 18 plus level, energy level, and then they communicate through people, through physical bodies. Okay, and I mentioned that there are three different modes. So one of the mode is that they directly come to the person, and this they start talking through that person's body. Like I am right now being used as a body to pass a message of Saint Germain, ascended master Saint Germain, as an example, using that as an example. That's number one. Then number two, the second mode is that the ascended masters are actually there at their retreat. Like in this case, let's say we're talking about Saint Germain, who is in Rocky Mountains, I suppose. And from there, they send a beam or a channel of communication, and that information comes to me. Like probably that's how it is coming to your daughter. I cannot be certain about it, but then the communication comes to me right now, and then I assimilate that information and I pass it on to you. And that is what is happening, that I'm passing on the information once I receive it, and then post that I'm passing it on. So that's the second one. Third one I will have to recall, and I come back to that one later on. And I was saying that there is two forms, right? So this is the form which is called as dictation, and as I mentioned, that it happens at the 18 plus level. Another form is channeling. Channeling happens at plus and minus. It's an oscillation of mode of communication. It happens also at minus, and it also have, so it actually happens at minus only. It doesn't come to plus level. Why I say that is because through channeling, the information that we receive is not coming from ascended masters. It's not coming from the highest of the highest God. The information which comes from channeling is also, it keeps varying from time to time. And the spirits which are communicating through channeling, they are not ascended. They are on the etheric plane, in between states, which is a lower etheric plane and a higher etheric plane. I don't want to confuse you with that, but let's talk about that in a bit. But that information is coming to us at a lower energy level, lower than the zero level. And the information which comes through that channel is always varying. It keeps varying. It's not constant. But the information that we receive through a dictation is always a constant. It doesn't change even in 50,000 years. Does that answer your question? Okay, well, great. It was a nice questionnaire. I think you can continue to ask questions, not a problem. Same message of love by Master Kuthumi given to my daughter. My daughter says Kuthumi. Absolutely, and that's a blessing, and that really is a blessing. I think as you, if you're not much familiar with the teachings of Ascended Masters, as you connect more with Ascended Masters, Gautama Buddha are my masters. Okay, great. So as you dwell more into these teachings, you would be able to appreciate more and more that what a blessing that you have right at your at your home. So amazing, great. Okay, so let me talk a bit more about, and you can feel free to ask questions in between if you have. But let me just complete this, and then I can come back to your questions. So let me share about. I was talking about violet flame and what are the benefits. And as a recap, just to add on, violet flame helps us to clear our chakras, to get forgiveness, ask forgiveness, and forgive others, to free ourselves from the financial limitations, restore our relationships with love, clear our blockages of sickness and ailment, and free us from our self-sabotaging patterns in our life. Any one of them. We know that. Since we know ourselves and our families, we know what are the self-sabotaging patterns. And then restoring our original blueprint, and then balancing our karmas, to name a few. Now, what is, we all are familiar with the basic form of yoga, which everybody, almost every one of us practice. So Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga. I think there's no explanation required to this because all of us do it. We do bhakti, we do pray, We do karma, we do our actions, karma is actions. We do gyan, we learn things, we get knowledge, and then Raja. Raja Yoga is nothing but assimilation of all these three, above three. Now, to that, what we are asking is, or what the the suggestion is, I would say, to add a new form of yoga, which is a fire yoga. That's nothing but a violet flame. So add fire yoga to your Raja yoga so that you can assist, so that you can get assistance to fast forward, to move faster in your journey to ascension. I think that's a beautiful thing, right? Towards our healing as well. All right. So now let me give you a brief explanation, and then we will do a prayer at the end of the session, as much as we can cover today. And that prayer will involve a simple mantra as well. So, how do we use violet flame? Step one, we visualize. Well, visualization is not a gift for everybody. It doesn't come naturally. For me, I am not a quite a visual person, so I have to imagine that I am imagining, so that then I can start with that. So you can, if you are in that state, if you are a good visual person, you can imagine things, then that's really, you're sorted. But number one is visualize. What do you visualize? You visualize the color of violet flame, which you can see right now on the screen, and I'm going to share this presentation with all of you. Visualize the situation. Like, for example, I was using earlier my situation of my career and my progress in my career, for example. Visualize the setup, my office, my situation, overall, how do I want it to be? Maybe I want a new opening, maybe I want a raise, maybe I want, some some different kind of a profile, and or maybe I just want to build good relationships. You can choose anything that you want as a situation. So put that situation in. Consider that there is a globe, or consider that there is a cylinder, an encapsulated cylinder, and the situation, and this encapsulation is of a violet flame. So there's a violet flame cylinder in which this situation and you are encapsulated, or a sphere in which you are encapsulated. That's number one. Number two is concentrate and pay attention. Well, they sound to be synonyms, but they're not. What do you mean by concentration? Well, concentration means that I was getting a phone call and I got a doorbell, or I get a thought, various thoughts in my mind. Every single, I'm just making fun right now with at the cost of myself, or people, that monkey mind. Our mind is a monkey mind because it keeps jumping from things to things to things to things all the time. I have observed that, at least it's true for me, and I know it's true for all of us. So to concentrate only means that we have a traction, that we deliberately make sure that we are focused on this activity. One of the good examples of concentration is when I do a lot of hiking, okay, trekking. So when I'm on a cliff around, and I have to cross a very thin edge, where I know if I slide, then there's only a huge, uh, deep sliding down, which would hit me on the ground, and that's the end of life. So I would be very, very focused. So that's what I mean. Concentrate on this particular exercise. Okay, that's one. And because you're visualizing, so you can just put your attention on that, put your concentration on that. And the second is paying attention. So what do you mean by paying attention in this perspective? Paying attention means that you are putting forth the situation deliberately. It's basically a deliberate attempt. Like in this case, for me, the attempt is that I I just wish and I just want that my situation alters, about my career, about my situation, about my job. So bringing that, being paying attention to that aspect, that why am I concentrating on this prayer? Why am I concentrating on the visualization? Because of that reason. So bringing the perspective of your situation and paying attention towards that resolution. That's what I mean by paying attention about your personal issue. And the third thing is use the decrees and customize it as per your requirement. As I said, you can use names. You can, as you speak to your somebody who is your friend, you can just talk, simply talk. Say that, I wish that, use any name that you have. Ram, if you could forgive me for a mistake that I had made that particular day. Or I say that I forgive you for whatever reason that I think is important. Or I ask that I wish that my sickness can be healed. So it can be anything. It's just your personal request that you're making. Okay. That's how you customize it. Use it to your benefit, is all I'm trying to say. These are steps. And when you do it, it's very organic. It's just that I'm explaining you, it becomes a little, mechanical. So visualize, concentrate, pay attention, use customized prayer. And the fourth one is command. There has to be a command in the tone. What do I mean by saying that? Command in the tone. It's new thing. Well, we have not heard of it much before. And I want to say one thing, and it's a bold statement. I think, some of you already know. I am that I am is something which means that I am the son, or I am the daughter of God. That means I am the part of God. That means I, every single cell in my body, my DNA, using a name, DNA, okay, but it's even deeper than DNA. Everything belongs to the structure. This whole body is a spiritual being, spiritual structure of the God. I am that I am. That's what it means. So when we are like that, have you ever requested anything to your parents when you were a child? Just consider that being a child. Or maybe how does your child ask for anything if they want? Mostly they will say, give it to me. They will not ask you that I request you, I plead you, they won't be sitting like this. They will just say, give it to me. This is mine, give it to me. There is a command in the tone. There's an order in the tone. There's a demand in the tone. The difference which I want to highlight to all of you is that's where the whole distinction plays in, it comes into the picture. Because we are ordering, we are commanding, we are demanding to God or to our own I am presence. But we are not doing that inside of ego. We are not doing anything inside of any lower vibration or hatred or jealousy or anything that we can think of, but only inside of our love and our connection and our belief and our trust and our faith with the God, with our own influence. So that's a distinction we need to remember. So we do this prayer, we do this decree, we call it as decree, with a command in the tone, right? So now there is something that I would like to, promise you as a takeaway, that if we do decrease 15 minutes a day, violet flame decrease for as minimum as 30 days, there's a profound difference that we are going to feel. And we are going to do a demo decree today in some time after the end of the session, so that you get an idea how to go about it. Okay. And this was a common question which had come so many times, that what are the certain changes that people can observe as a distinct from, previous and post kind of a thing, before and after effects. So I think there is very distinct difference that everybody will observe, and it's a promise. The only thing that is required is ask from you is to put yourself 15 minutes daily and do these decrees with the four principles that I have given you, four steps that I have given you. Do it with devotion, with dedication, with commitment. Visualize, concentrate, customize, and then command in the decree. And you will see the difference. So the main difference is that you would see is a change in your behavior. There will be a profound change in the behavior, in the way you respond to people, in the style in which you respond to people. And I have observed this in my teacher, Jaspal sir, his voice, his way, the calmness that he possesses, the harmony that he has, the peace that is around him is extremely positive. And I feel that it has started replicating to some of the people who are in this practice. I know a couple of them, including Rene, who's on the call. So we feel a change in the way we start to talk, in the way we start to behave, in the way we start to be, the attitude that we have, and we become more calm. We become, more subtle and steady. We become more steady. We are more measured in our responses and more harmonious. We do not respond back with conclusive statements. We become, balanced and more measured in our responses. That's what I mean when I said measured. And people, when they come close to us, they come in the close proximity of us, they will experience this calmness. They will experience this peacefulness. They will ask this question: what is it that you do that has, shifted in you? Perhaps they may or they may not, but they feel the difference when they are around you. And you will feel that how? By the way they talk to you. You will feel that. All right. And we become very, very accepting towards ourselves. We are okay with, not to say in a way of as a resigned person or an individual, but in the sense of being accepting towards how things are. Like the struggle of making changes in life goes away. The fear to make things happen or what will happen goes away. And I mean it because I am living this life right now. So I can talk from my life. I don't have to say about anything. The way I feel now with the current state in pandemic and in the work in the office, and how the things are back with my son, and how differently he is handling things. He's a teenager, recently turned. Well, I feel more calm and composed. All the qualities which I mentioned earlier, to really geared. I'm ready to rise to the occasion, and that's what I mean. Okay, you feel the difference, and you are more accepting towards people, towards letting them make a mistake or forgiving them, or towards letting yourself make an error and forgive yourself. That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm happy to take question on this slide. I see somebody. Uh, Whether it's a question? Okay, no, it's not. Do you have any questions?
Hi,
Yes,
Akash.
Prerna,
Please go ahead. Is this Prerna?
Yes, Akash, Prerna this side. I wanted to
Hi,
ask if
Prerna.
there's any
Yep.
particular time in the day when we should be practicing this, say when we get up in the morning or before going to bed, or we can choose to do it any time in the day.
All you need, the prerequisite to this is that you just need to be having a calm mind, or a place where you can sit down and do your prayers
Understood.
uninterruptedly for a period of, it's not that you have to do it necessarily for 15 minutes or 1 hour, but these prayers work. One single prayer: I am a being of violet fire, I am a purity God desires. I cannot have a calculation of this, but certainly it's worth more than at least 100 hours. Somebody spending
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes, they are working on their karma big time, maybe years together, maybe
Mm-hmm.
months together. So those 15 minutes have that much amount of strength. And I mean, we will talk more about it, but then we are balancing our karmas, which perhaps we have carried from lifetimes. We don't even know how long. But how do we know that? Later on, we will come to that. But just to answer your question, you don't need any specific time of the day. You just need peaceful mind and dedicated whatever time that you can spare. And also another thing, that's what you need. There is no other prerequisite. Okay. And of course, you need to visualize and follow those steps.
All right.
Another thing
Thank
which, yeah,
you. Mm-hmm.
you're welcome. Another thing I want to add is that these prayers have a, like, and I think there's a very brief understanding which I have about it, but these prayers have a 24 hours of strong energy. Okay. And that it resets the energy is reset. All right. And let me just speak more about it in later sections. But like the day, it comes and goes, it comes and goes, and we will talk about more about days and all that. So our energies also need to be replenished. So though we do have certain good balance in our bucket through doing the decrease, but then if we really want to feel the strong changes that we want to bring in our lives, and we want to really protect ourselves, I'm using this word, okay, because like a beehive, it attracts a lot of bees. When there is a lot of honey, we also attract a lot of darkness which are present in us, all of us. So idea is that we keep ourselves in the high energy mode. We just spoke about energy modes, 33 plus and minus, all that. So just to keep ourselves in the high energy mode, we must do it once in 24 hours. That's the reason I say that do it every single day for 30 days. You do it for more days, but I'm just giving this as a, more like a, challenge, or, assurance that this would really make a difference to your life. And you'll start to see a real shift if you practice it for a period of time. Okay. Any questions? Further questions?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Are these
Hi.
notes going? Hello. Are these notes going to be given to us later on? Because I'm already writing them down as you speak.
No need to write them down. You're welcome to do it, because if you are a person who loves to write, it's perfectly good. But my suggestion is to spend less time on writing. If I were you, I would spend more time in asking questions. I am like that.
Just so that I
And
don't forget,
yeah.
basically.
So
Yeah.
this is a recording which is going to be shared by Brother Ram.
That's what I
and
wanted to know. Yes.
yeah,
Thank
and
you.
that's one. And number two, this whole presentation is also going to be uploaded to a website, the link of which will also be shared by Brother Ram on the YouTube channel comments, and also in our groups, PMSS groups, PMC groups.
Thank you very much indeed.
Very welcome. I can come back to any slide anytime. Just hold on till we complete the whole presentation. But then you can ask me while I'm on that slide if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer that. So any further questions on this slide? Okay, so I love to see each one of you. If you are not switching on your camera, please do that. Maybe I am not looking at you right now because of the presentation on the screen, but it will be great if you have your cameras also turned on. All right, so moving to the next slide, uh, I'm going to talk about creation process of human beings. As I was in the early in the beginning of today's session, as I was mentioning, what does it mean to be human? How this whole evolution started. So I'm going to touch upon this very interesting and also very deep topic, and I'm just going to be touching upon it, as I said, but we are going to be deep diving and learning more about it eventually. But just so that you know what are basic elements or the building blocks of all of us, this is what it means. And I know I'm repeating myself. Please be patient. Be here with an open heart and an open mind, because there will be a lot of questions, and I will be happy to answer to them. But give me your presence and attention right now. So, in the beginning, what happened was we were created as whole. When I say whole, we were complete, absolutely complete, from alpha and omega, male and female. So if you look at the picture, it's called as a spirit spark. That means it has two components. It has alpha, which is a male, and a omega, which is a female. And the whole, this makes this as a whole, this entity as a whole. And this is called as a spirit spark. Now this is our seed. This is the seed of our soul. Spirit, it can be visualized as a sphere of light, which is like also in ancient Tai Chi, it contains the similar sign of plus and minus. So this sphere, this ball of light, or Tai Chi, is containing masculine and feminine, both polarities. This is something that was created in the beginning as a creator, from the creator. Okay, this is the seed of the soul. And what we need to remember over here is that this seed of the soul has a blueprint. All right. And this, it is nothing but this, we can call this also as a blueprint. Now, this is nothing different than the God or the Creator Himself. Why I say that we are the sons and daughters of God is because this has come from them. It's like giving a portion of yourself, if you are God, if you are a creator, and then creating your versions. So that's what it means. That's nothing but a spirit spark. Okay. I hope I have not confused you, but just stay with me. As simple as that, a spirit spark is in itself a whole which contains a male and a female, a feminine and a masculine polarity, and that is nothing but a blueprint of Father, Mother, God, blueprint of the Creator. That's all. And then this, and let me go in the sequence then. Now, the spirit spark, she was spirit, we call spirit or the soul as she. Okay. So she was given this opportunity when she was, the idea was that the soul has been created so that it can eventually be placed or sent to the planet and live a physical life and then work through various processes. We will come to that. Now, so that in order for a spark, a spirit spark, a seed of the soul, to be able to work, to be able to, sustain herself on the planet Earth in the physical form, it would need a lot of energy. Now, as my sir used to say a word called as khati in Punjabi. What it means is that it is like a pocket money. Okay, it's like you have been given a, a some amount of portion of food or some amount of portion of energy or some amount of portion of various, fuel, so to say, fuel, so that you can sustain yourself wherever you're going, so that you can be solo and you can, you can survive, so that you can survive, sustain yourself, so that you can sustain yourself, okay, on the physical planet. Now, keep yourself, let this information sink in, and we'll touch upon in details, maybe in later sessions, later workshops. But then, so the process of attaining these kind of energies is nothing but, okay, it is now in this figure 2, we call this as causal body. Now, causal body is what it means is causal body is nothing but different qualities of God. Okay. Now, the spirit spark is like a, a blank or an empty ball right now. It needs these kind of qualities. Now, these qualities are depicted by soul body, causal body, sorry, causal body. Now, causal body contains all the qualities of God. It's like it's the God quality, right? In other words, all the patterns of Father, Mother, God were embedded and disseminated by the soul by going around each. Imagine that the causal body, I'm using this word in the figure 2, is nothing but encapsulated concentric spheres. One sphere, and then the second sphere, and the third, and then there are 7 colors in this figure, if you see. Each color depicting different qualities, and I'll come to those qualities later on. But just for an example, white color denotes peace, and the yellow color denotes illumination, and many more things. And then pink color denotes love, and then the exterior most blue color denotes protection, and then green color denotes healing, and many other things. So imagine that the spirit spark is now, it's basically going around in a cyclic order. It is whirling around the causal body sphere, around each color of the, around each sphere of each color. It is moving around each sphere of each color. And then it is assimilating the qualities of the God in that particular color. And I'll come to that, what each color denotes. Okay. So that now this spirit spark is nothing but a complete encapsulated assimilation of all the qualities of God. Okay. Now, with this now we move to the next step, but I'm just going to read a little more. So each color of this individual I am presence reflects, right? And then what happens is that once we are at that stage, we call this is the divine blueprint that has now been stamped on the spirit spark, right? And now this I just want to add one more thing, if I may, and I don't mean to confuse you, but this causal body is present in the great central sun, and great central sun is a home. It is a home of our creator. It is a home of the entire consciousness. I am sure some of us have heard of this word great central sun, but great central sun is a home, it's a hub of the creator of the entire consciousness. And that is where the spirit spark goes, and it accumulates all the and goes around cyclic manner, in a clockwise direction, and it simulates all the qualities of God within itself. And then it is now ready for future initiations on the planet Earth. How about that? All right. So, any questions around this? Okay. So, we can come back to this later. Just moving forward in the interest of time. And you can always ask me any questions about any of the things that we have introduced so far. Once we finish, or specifically to a particular slide while I'm talking itself. Okay, now, so far, I hope everybody of us are on the same page. Can we agree on this? If any of you don't, then please say that you don't. I am assuming that all of us are on the same page so far. That's what my intention is. So once we have our spirit spark with all the qualities of God inbuilt and assimilated, now this is ready, and now this is planted in the womb of the mother. And that's where I'm talking about. We always need to remember that life begins at the state of inception. And I am sharing this message from the Ascended Masters, that one must always remember that the act and the process of formation of an embryo till the 9-month-old baby is completely orchestrated by angels. And their emissaries are throughout working. Emissaries of God are throughout working, so that a embryo is finally transformed into a baby. It's that beautiful a process. It's just not a process which we can explain it by the biology that we already know. And I can talk about this quite a bit. If you wish to know about it, do let me know. I'm happy to share more about it. And if you have questions now, we can take. Otherwise, we can come to questions later. Okay. So I'm moving on in interest of time, but I'm happy to answer your questions. Please do not stop yourself from asking questions. I'm also checking the chat, and I don't have anything I can see so far in the last slide, 2 slides. So now the next picture, what do you see? I want you to say something. Okay, I want this to be interactive. One liner, what do you see on the left side of the picture? What does it bring to your mind? Say something. I'm not going to ask the specific names, but I really want you to unmute and say, what do you see? Okay, so hi, thank you so much, Team Zorba. That's what I really appreciate. People being interactive. It's the best thing. You see crystals, okay? Oh, please share more about crystal. Aura. You see aura, you see temple. Okay, wow, beautiful, yeah. Well, I was asked this question. I also had, I missed few things, but my picture has disappeared. Huh? Well, can everybody see the screen?
It's come back now. Thank you.
Achha, okay. So what can you see? Okay, Timo, what do you see? What do you see, Nalini? Thanks. I'll share more about crystal. I'll share more about crystal and aura later on. But Team Zorba, what else do you see? Please share. Yeah, all of you. I mean, all of you. Source is connected to down. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, Ram. Om.
Om.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. Nalini said
Crystal.
Om. I hope it's Nalini. Crystal. Okay. What about Timo? Pradeep? Prerna? I want to hear one word from everybody. I'm just trying to make it interactive. Don't mind.
Is it ascension?
Okay. Yeah. Carry
I
on.
see energy going to the physical body via ascended master or God.
Yeah.
And
Who's
through the
talking?
cycles,
Yeah.
Prerna.
That's, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely right. Right. Correct. Yes. What about Pradeep, Prashant? Come on, guys. Mandy.
Destiny.
Sorry, Ram.
Destiny.
Oh, Zorba. Yes. Well, that's very innovative. Okay, carry on. No answer is wrong. What else? Somebody who hasn't spoken. Samantha, Renee, Prashant. Okay. Okay, I respect that. It's your choice as well, but I also wanted to make it interactive. Yeah, and all of you are all the answers are valid, by the way, and they are very innovative, to be quite honest. And,
okay, Akash, can you hear me?
I can. Is this Renee?
Okay, I'm traveling now, so it might be not very clear because I thought 2:30 tak main bhag ke wapas ghar gayi. Acha, anyway, firstly, I must totally compliment you, Akash. It's been so wonderful, totally worth my having run back home and heard you.
Thank
and
you.
Extreme clarity of thought.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of things which I used to be vague about. I mean, like, I allowed them to pass. Vaguely pata, but fantastic. So that's what I want to say. Super.
Thank you.
Questions will come next time. Now in your next session, I can't concentrate too much while driving.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, my car is driving, but still.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that. How can you?
I must say, please continue with this.
Sure. Thank you.
Very, very helpful for everyone. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your words. Thank you.
Okay. पहाड़ में आ गई हूँ, सुन नहीं रहा है.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Just be as long as you can be around. Not a problem at all. Okay. So
I don't think I can hear you, or you can hear me now.
I can hear you very loud and clear. But it's okay. You can be on mute.
I'm in the mountains, so it's very hard to hear.
Okay. No problem.
Acha, till what time are you on?
It's going to be there for another 10 minutes. So
Abhi karoge?
Just 10 more minutes, Renee. I think I'll just finish this and then.
Maybe I'll. Yeah. All right. Okay.
No problem. Okay, so
awesome.
Thank you. Let me just say that whatever answers I have got are valid, and some of you who have not shared, it's absolutely okay, and because it's a personal choice. But I'm really I hope that you're getting value out of it, and you're really getting through with the information shared so far. And this figure is basically a figure of I am presence. What I mean is this is us. We can say that I am that. This is us. Okay, I must explain this to do justice to this. All that you read here, you can always read it, but I'm just going to read it for the benefit. Very quickly, the pointer over here is nothing but our physical body. This is where we are right now. Okay, and then if you observe the middle figure, this is called as Atma, or you can call it as our higher self. And this is nothing but a mediator, or you can say this as a step down between our I am presence and our physical body. And the top one is nothing but our I am presence. That is we can call it as Paramatma, or our God self, or Brahma. Okay. So just to, again explain this, And these all different colored spheres, as I was explaining, this is the causal body. Okay, how these are connected is through a crystal cord. If you see a white color cord, it is connecting from the center of our head, right from the middle, okay, just at the center of our head, up until our I am presence. And that is a strong connection that we have all the time. That connection starts from the time when we were born, and through this connection only ascended masters gave us all the amount of necessary energy that was required when we were in our mother's womb. Just so that you know. But I'm going to break up this and speak from the right side and read through it. Okay. Now these are 7 different bodies. The split is basically into 7. Okay. These are, you can call them as garments, if that makes you feel comfortable. Call them as garments. These are 7 different bodies. Okay. Yeah, correct. The pilot light is within the white tunnel, is of light violet. Yes, correct. That's true. This is the white one, but then this is the one which is the violet color demon, and then it connects over here. So you can call 7 bodies as 7 garments, which each one of us has, inseparable garments, so to say. Now, coming to them, we can bifurcate them in 2 parts. One of them can be bifurcated, which is more, closer to us, which we can very closely feel, and those are 4 of them. And then there are other 3 which we need to really connect to them, and then we can experience those bodies within us. And all of them exist, by the way, but the 4 are more close to physical plane, and the other 3 are more towards the etheric and the higher realms. So those 4 concentric shields or envelopes, if you may call them, or if you call them Jivatma, the first one is etheric, second, and it contains the blueprint of our soul. The second one is the mental, which contains the thought form. And the third one is the emotional, which contains feelings. And the fourth one is our outer physical part, which we are all right now experiencing. All the physical senses, touch, feel, and organs. And our soul is a resident. It is living inside these 4 lower bodies. Okay. And then there are 3 higher bodies, which I was mentioning. And these are Atma, as I just mentioned in the center figure, which is nothing but, we can call it as higher consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Guru Nanak consciousness, anything. We can call it as higher mind, Christ consciousness. This is nothing but as a mediator or a step down interface between our physical body and our I am presence. And then the center white color you see is Paramatma. That's our I am presence, or our individualized God self, Brahma, if you may. And one can manifest and exhibit the virtues of Father, Mother, God while on the planet Earth and become God incarnate. I must add one line to this, to this particular state of being. Can you experience for a moment that all of us are gods and we are work in progress from the standpoint? All of us are gods in the highest realm, but in the physical realm, we have a lot of things that we have done, our own karmas, and we need to figure them out or sort our act out and then merge with our higher self. So the reason why we are on the planet Earth is the ultimate goal that we are here, the purpose of us being here. If that was a question many people had, I had this question. The only reason for every soul to be on the planet Earth is so that they can become the God incarnate. We are intended to become sons and daughters of God while on the planet Earth and raise our divine families. That's the sole purpose. Okay, I just wanted to add that. It's a very, very profound meaning that I found while my learnings in the course of time that I have spent. And that's one which we were looking at. All these 7 concentric circles are causal bodies, and they are nothing but the investment, the khatti, as my dearest loving teacher Jaspal sir says. This is the khatti which was given to us, the investment that was, the pocket money that was given to us, the energy that was given to us while when we came to the planet Earth. This is the energy that we had assimilated, we had gathered the God qualities, so that when we come to the planet Earth, we can really remember the godness that we have. through these qualities, they help us in our process. How is somebody so more loving, so more calm, so more peaceful than some of us? Because they are just connecting back to their source. And all of us are like that. And that the intention is that. So this is the process. These qualities help us to reach our progress. They help us to progress in our spiritual journey. That's their work. And they help us to create good karmas, expand on our consciousness, okay, by the method of, or by the goal of attaining ascension back to the source. In the interest of time, I'm moving forward, and we can come back to questions later, only if time allows, as Brother Ram would say, we will do that. But first, I want to complete this. This is a, a simple a table which I which I have, which denotes different days of the week and different rays that these days denote, and different colors that they denote, and different chakras, and what are the qualities of them. And without further delay, as I was mentioning earlier, on the first or the second slide that I told, that there are 7 colors of the day, of the week, and these denote the God qualities which are embedded into the soul, in the spirit spark. And now I'm talking about these qualities, which are the innermost qualities and virtues that each one of us have, and they reflect upon, these are God energies, and humans have to make themselves open to receive these God qualities, so that we merge with our own I am presence. And I want to repeat one thing right now. The cup of the humans, okay? And when I say the cup is our physical vessel, can only receive these qualities if we are aligned with the will of God. And how can we do that? Is by praying, by doing violet flame, by doing decrees, by meditating. That's how we connect it. By doing chakra meditations, our vessel, if it is clean, if our chakras are spinning properly, we are emptying our cup, and then we are providing our vessel. It's like standing with an empty vessel or empty cup, and the nectar is dropping from the top. And then now we will receive it. That is the state what I'm talking about. We can receive this. Okay, that's what I mean. Now, very, very quickly, it's just a table and you can read it later on. But then each color, first ray is Tuesday, is of blue color, and it denotes throat chakra, and it works on quality, God quality of faith and willpower. Well, willpower, faith, not ordinarily, but godly faith, godly willpower. That's what it means. I think we have a little limitation on time, so I'll move, but I'll definitely, I'm happy to take up questions if we do get an opportunity, of course, in the next session, probably. And then we have protection and courage, not ordinary courage, the courage which comes from love. Second ray is Sunday, yellow color, crown chakra. It's a ray for illumination. That's the God quality. And wisdom. My God, we can spend many sessions just on one quality. Gautama Buddha reincarnated, couple of reincarnations before he ascended, before he was the Gautama Buddha, the last ascension that he had, just for one of the qualities out of this, and that was to master the quality of alms. All right, and can you imagine that these qualities, the godly way of doing these things, are much different than the way we understand. So wisdom and illumination. Illumination is being present to get the knowledge. It's just not ordinary knowledge, it's godly knowledge. And all of us are having this blueprint. All of us have this wisdom. Some of us are more present to it, and some of us are not. But remember, these are not alien qualities. They are all in us. So just be open, and then be into the prayer, be into this mode of receiving, and you will definitely receive. But more about it later. And the third is Monday, pink ray. It's of heart and of course love and compassion. And like that, fourth is of it's a Friday, it's a white color, and I mentioned about purity and love and joy, purity, hope, and joy. And the fifth is Wednesday, green, about healing and vision. And sixth is Thursday, it's a blue and purple, and it works on solar plexus. And sorry, the other one, fifth one was on third eye, and earlier one was on base of the spine. The earlier one was on heart, and the sixth ray is on solar plexus, and it's about ministration, service, balance. Seventh is Saturday, violet, seat of the soul, which is our sacral chakra, and that's about transmutation and mercy. So if we are connected to sacral chakra, we are connected to the inner child. And if we are connected to the sacral chakra, we are connected to our soul. If we are connected to the sacral chakra, we get intuitions like this. And each one of them have their qualities. So we can talk about that later on. But I just wanted to, give you a perspective. So now, without further delay, since there's a limitation of time, okay, Timo says, aren't the quality God available every day and night? Yes, they are all the time. Yes, my question is based on what they are distributed over the week or this practice of the reason. Absolutely. It's a beautiful question, Timo, and I like questions coming out, so that we get clarification. No question is small, no question is wrong, no question is invalid, no question is bad. So, but I'm going to just spend a shorter time, Timo, and I think I will build upon it maybe in the next session because of the interest of time. We have already exceeded by 6 minutes. Yes, the answer is that these qualities are present to us all the time, each one of them, all the 24 hours of the day, all the 7 qualities. But, my friend, on each specific day, like for example, 7th ray, it's a Saturday, it's a violet flame. If we do a violet flame decree, and if we pray to Saint Germain, who's the ascended master for violet flame, and for each one of them we have specific responsible ascended masters, we will get a deeper dimension. When I talk about deeper dimension, it's like peeling the layers of the onion. You always have a next layer, next layer, next layer. We will get a deeper dimension of what it means to transmute, what it means to forgive, what it means to, have mercy or give mercy or, something like that. So that's what I mean. On that particular day, writing a letter to the Ascended Master, sitting on the prayer and commanding to the Ascended Master of that particular day that you really want to learn more about, like for example, transmutation. The depth that you will reach, the mastery that you will attain, the perfection that you will attain is going to be much deeper. And that is why these have been divided. And it's not a division done some 5, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 years back. This was there eons of years back, my friend Timo. And it's nothing to do with the Monday, Tuesday. This is very new, Monday, Tuesday and all that. But the cycle in which our earth operates, and I don't want to get into the dynamics and geography and the science of that, is completely synonym and depiction of each qualities of each ray. And because of that movement of each day, which is within 24 hours, and how the the days and months and years and how do they work, it's a very strong science. And that is how each day has its own quality, and that's how we have these qualities integrated within us. Because if you remember in the earlier section I mentioned about causal body, each causal body has a ring of sphere. It's actually a sphere and concentric sphere, and each sphere denotes some kind of a quality. And if you're specifically praying about I might be very powerful in my courage, but I think I need more wisdom. I would rather spend more time on wisdom. And I'm really talking to you very honestly, seriously. So rather not pray for wisdom, yes, I would spend more time on wisdom. Or if I have some ailment, wouldn't I pray for healing more? Or if I have something related to abundance, won't I just pray for more towards abundance at that point of time? So when you do these prayers in a deeper depth, you will get a deeper dimension of that particular quality, and it really works. So let's experiment. I don't believe anybody, to be quite honest, unless I experiment and I experience things. I have experienced this myself. It has impacted my relationship with my family. It has impacted the way I work and the way I conduct my life. And I can see there's a lot of distance. If I would have given you my introduction about what I do in my career, that would have been a different dimension. But if I look at where I am in my dimension of spirituality, I'm like a small younger youth, I would say, and very, very, I would say, I'm initiating, I would say, in that stage. So, so I'm just a learner, like all of you, and I don't mean to teach to anybody at all, as I said in the beginning. So, from that perspective, I think all of us have a lot to learn. These God qualities are nowhere comparison to the human vocabulary of the meaning of these words. For instance, vision or courage or wisdom. This is not the wisdom that I'm talking about. No, this is the wisdom that is innate in us already. This is what I'm talking about. And that wisdom, my friend, you know it. All of us know it from a certain perspective. It's that wisdom comes when we calm down, we sit, we center ourselves. Okay, so that's what I mean. All right, so Brother Ram, I'm really sorry about extending it already by 11 minutes, but I would want to ask if we have 2 or 3 minutes to take up a short prayer.
Yes, Akash bhai. It's wonderful. I think we can continue hearing the wisdom you're sharing and the knowledge you're sharing. So
Okay.
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, so then I take a liberty of even asking question if anybody has any question. And before that, I want to ask Brother Timo if what I answered, is it okay? Or you have a follow-up question to it? No worries, Ambika. Carry on. Okay, okay, good. Any questions, if I may, if you have any questions, if you may ask, it's absolutely okay. You must. And I'll try to answer them.
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes, Nalini ji, please tell
Akash
me.
bhai. If we are God's children or from God, Alpha, Omega, then why have we been denigrated down to this earth to go through these cycles of, pain, despair, sorrow, this, that, other, and then have to rise up from there? Why is it that? I can't understand that. Why couldn't we just stay with our father and mother? Why have we been sent down to this planet to what for? What does it, what does God achieve from this? I'm sorry, I do believe in God. I am a spiritual person, but at the moment in time, I'm just that is the question higher most in my mind.
Yeah, well, it's a very I think when we listen to anybody with a state of being a child is the only time that we can learn. And I think this question was, I try to do that if I remember, whenever I remember. And that's the most valuable time that I have spent, the best learning. I think this is a very innocent question that you have. I did have this question, by the way. And I have got a few different versions of my answers so far in my journey. It cannot, be. It will be unfair on my part to say that I know the ultimate answer to your question, by the way. But the ones which I have gathered so far is what I can share with you, if at all, if it helps you, or if at all it is addition to your already known knowledge. One of the thing is that when I'm referring to the oneness right now, the original oneness that we have spoken about, and I have a feeling that everybody, great masters here actually already have a good amount of understanding of oneness. So, and assuming that, but just still touching upon that, in the beginning, brothers and sisters, there was nothing. When I say there was nothing, we come from this presumption. When there was nothing, There was no form, there was no identity, there was no beginning, there was no end, there was no space, there was no time, there was nothing. Okay. And when there is nothing, that means we don't, that state of nothingness, this fist, let's say the state of nothingness, it doesn't know anything. It doesn't have anything. There is nothing to be. And that state, when you have nothing, you know nothing, and you be nobody, is a state which is beyond explanation. I meditate on this every day, and I must say that every day is a learning, and I feel so little that I know about it, or I would say that so little my experience towards it. As much as I do, I learn that this is more, it has more depth to it. Now, this state of knowing nothing, having nothing, being nothing, is the state of oneness. At this state, this is absolute truth. There is no distance between anything because there is nothing to have a distance for. That is from where everything, so this is the state from where things started. Now the question should be, or the question perhaps could be, that why did we wanted to create a duality to start with? Well, this is a good question. By the way, you should continue to dwell on it. But as far as I have come to understand is God or the creator himself also wanted to have more something creative. This is, if you hear it from a wisdom perspective, then it will be really enjoyable. When people say, then why does God want to create anything when everything is in the perfect order? You say that the God is perfect, then why create an imperfection, or so to say, different versions of God? Why? Now, then the answer is, why not? I think, why not? Now, this, please, it's so beautiful. I don't have much time to spend right now, but it's so beautiful. Why not? Why not? Why not to, God wanted to have fun. God wanted to experiment. And he created this whole entire cosmos. And it's creating, it's expanding evermore. And there's so much to unveil. There's so much to discover. And it's evolving moment by moment. Isn't that interesting from a certain perspective, or only this is interesting? So the answer is that, I can assimilate from my understanding is, why not? To make it interesting. And there are so much more depths to it, but I'm just keeping it straightforward and simple. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's my, yeah. And then there is a journey that we all have, and we can make it more beautiful, sister, or we can make it more complex. It's up to us. And sometimes all of us are not in the presence of who we are, but that's also our physical self. It's okay. Not taking time, but I don't remember the name. Maybe I will come back on it. In one single lifetime, there was a thief or a guy who committed crimes beyond any comparison. He had committed all the crimes which are possible on the planet. And that one lifetime, that person attained ascension. I am saying that that's possible. Attaining ascension is possible. We are God in the making. So why not to have a life living inside of these, God qualities? I think I would just limit it to that. And any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. If there are no more questions, I would like to have a short prayer for brother. Can we do it for 3 minutes?
Sure, Akash bhai. Take your time.
Let's do a 3-minute prayer. And why I'm doing this prayer, I have an intention, is because earlier we were saying that we have to use a commanding tone I mentioned about visualize, the steps which I used, 4 steps: visualize, concentrate, and pay attention. Customize it according to you. Like, you can put your prayer and whatever you want to put, names and things and situations. And the fourth was a command tone in your voice. So I want to do it along with you so that you have a flavor of it. And I'm going to do something which is called as an opening prayer. And then after we finish the prayer, we will be doing a sealing prayer so that the energies are intact and we don't let those energies just get affected by, we don't get affected by the negative energies around. All right. When it really happens, it's true. They do get affected. All right. So I want all of you, if you're, in a different posture, if you can sit upright with your back straight, and preferably if you are in a silent room, because you will need to, if you do it in your heart and your mind, it's okay. But the real power is, and it really is, and I'll explain you why, is if you speak. Okay, so sit at a place where you can speak out loud, a little more secluded place, right? So, and I'll just take about 10-15 seconds so that people can settle down, and then we can start the prayer. Okay. Right. So I'm going to start now. Dear God, I thank you for this opportunity to invoke the Ascended Masters, angels, and beings of light to overshadow myself and everyone attending this event, to help them understand and assimilate the truth about the mysteries of divinity contained herein. And keep one hand, left hand on your heart, this middle of your chest, and the other hand on top of it, if you may. Otherwise, you can just keep your open arms. With the eyes closed, visualize a violet flame. You are encapsulated in the violet flame. And your situation, be focused around it. Pay attention to your situation and whatever you want this situation to turn into. Bring your attention to that. Make a personal request to the Almighty, and it can be in your own words, whatever that request is. Remember that you are encapsulated into a chamber or a sphere of violet light, violet fire. And then we start. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm a being of violet fire. I'm the purity God desires. I'm going to say a small prayer and then the sealing prayer. There are two prayers. And in full faith, you can also repeat after me. And in full faith, I consciously accept this manifest, manifest, manifest. And in full faith, I consciously accept this manifest, manifest, manifest. And in full faith, I consciously accept this manifest, manifest, manifest. Right here and now, with full power, eternally sustained, all powerfully active, ever expanding, world enfolding, until all are wholly ascended, in the light and free. Beloved I am, beloved I am, beloved I am. Beloved mighty, I am presence and my higher self. Please seal all the light and energy released through this presentation so that it may uplift all mankind to the new spiritual heights of awareness of God within. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is sealed. Om Tat Sat. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you so much for joining. This is very pleasant to have you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Akash.
Thank you, Prerna. Thank you for joining.
That was a beautiful meditation, Akash Bhai. And even the wisdom you have shared was amazing, amazing. I loved the part when you said we can have, a request, not as a request, but with a tone of a son asking the father. So that's my takeaway today. So that's so beautiful. And thank you. Thank you.
I am not perfect. I'm just trying to just share what I'm learning in between where I am in my path. And my teacher is here, Jaspal sir. So I just would like to pay my gratitude for anything that I have been able to assimilate so far to serve. Thank you.
Jeshpal sir, can we hear something from you, please?
Well, thank you, Ramji, for asking me this question. I'm very much honored to be part of this group. What Akash has shared with you, that is the really the essence or the nuts and bolts of the Ascended Masters teachings that I personally have been involved for 45 years in America. I have moved to I moved to India about 10 years ago, so for the sole purpose of sharing the Ascended Masters teachings to whoever. Uh, this is a this is a the word Ascended Master is a new word, but the teachings are not new. So I think we call them Devi Guru, Devi Purusha, Ascended Master. We call them Devi Devta also. So we know them by different names in different religions, but what Akash has shared today is the spiritual side of it, which is kind of, I'll say, a little higher than the, the side of the religion. Sometimes we look at the religion in a compartmental way, and when we rise above it, is a spiritual realm. It's open. There are no partitions. Everybody is welcome to come and be part of that spiritual realm. So I think that's what I'm very grateful that Akash is a very fast learner student. Last 6 8 months, I think he has learned quite a bit. I'm so grateful that what he has presented was really very clear concept, very very clearly, very fundamentally explained everything, violet flame, and how we were created as in the great central sun, and our individuality as what we call it, Aham Brahmasmi, or I am presence, or I am that I am, and and how we got into this realm of karma, and that how we can how violet flame can free us from that karma, and we can achieve our immortal freedom once again. So I think that is, I'm honored to be part of this session, and thanks for having me in your presence, all of you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jaspal sir. So it's a great blessing to hear Akashji and you on the same day, and to connect to both of you. So my deepest gratitude to both of you. Thank you.
I'd like to say something. This is Tamra Popli. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Akash, I just wanted to appreciate today's session, and thank you so much for this wonderful learning that came our way. And thank you, Jaspal sir, for really guiding us through this. I also wanted to introduce the youngest learner today in your session, which is Mrs. Sheila Shankaran, who is 86 years old, and she's in the awe of these teachings and whatever she heard with me today. So I just wanted to let you know that you have the youngest learner with me today.
I just love this way of introducing her. Thank you so much.
Okay. Glad to meet you.
Yeah, and thank you, Auntie Ji. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me as one
You're
of your
most
students.
welcome. You're most welcome, Auntie Ji.
Thank you.
This was the meeting which I was referring to. I was supposed to meet you, so that was what was holding me back right now. So see you soon today.
See you soon. See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Akash. Thank you, Jaspal sir.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, so I think we are all good to go, and I wish we can continue with the teachings. It'll be great. I hope that I can continue with these sessions and unveil the messages of Ascended Masters, if you all are interested, for the higher benefit of everybody. I am just nobody but just a messenger who is just sharing what he's learning, and I'm nothing more than that. So it's just God's work. So I would invite you, if it's your heart's calling to, to come and learn, and there are multiple platforms, and you can take forward your process of your progress of your spiritual journey. And with that, I think we can conclude. Ram bhai.
Yes, Akash bhai. So thanks. So thanks to each one of you friends who had joined today, and because of your presence, all this wisdom had been poured out. You all had been the channels, and your presence had made wonderful um, difference here. So thank you for joining. And this video, friends, is available on the YouTube channel Beam Meditation. I have just shared the details on the chat. So you can follow there and get these things. And the PPT and other details will be shared in the WhatsApp group. If you wish to be part of that, I have also shared that link. You can join the WhatsApp group. And we will be having more sessions of Akashji. So please stay tuned in. And thanks again, Akashji, Jaspal sir, and everyone who are here. Thank you. I wish you all wonderful time ahead and connect you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Andy, Akash, very good. I was very. बहुत अच्छा लगा. I think you covered everything beautifully.